part of Includability, to kind of come on and talk about what that means and how it works, so that we can perhaps inspire and empower other people. So Dave, I'm going to hand over the virtual floor to you, which is kind of, I guess, all about how includability can benefit and support somebody that might want to either progress and be better within a B Corp, or start their journey with B Corp. So mate, over to you.
Thanks so much, Paolo. Do you know what? This is such a treat. Paul never lets me speak on an ESG. That's because he knows that I like to chat an awful lot. So fortunately, he does have a mute button, so I promise he'll keep you all safe. Hi, everybody. So lovely to see you all. What a brilliantly inspirational morning. And forgive me, for those that don't know me, I'm sometimes referred to by my name, but for the most part, simply as Paul's very grey, smiley sidekick. So it's lovely to be on the issue with you all today. Now, a large part of my role, I guess, kind of really revolves around providing support for the brilliant companies that are progressing through the verification process to become an includability committed employer. But I'm also very lucky to support our team with the B Impact assessment for both includability and, of course, for our sister company, Disrupt, who we took through the B Corp certification just a little over 2 years ago now. Now, as Paul mentioned at the start of the ESG, we were so thrilled that Includability certified earlier in the month. But as is always the case, it's every one of you on the ESG this morning, this extraordinary community of brilliant people alongside our ambassadors, our partners and committed employers, who are the absolute driving force for all the good we have done this far, in being privileged enough to support businesses to create that mentally healthy and inclusive workplace culture. Every year, B Corp produce a Best for the World report that lists the verified scores of the global top 5% of B Corps for each impact area. And last summer, based on the 2022 Best for the World report, the average score for the community impact area amongst those top 5% of certified businesses was 44.2. Includability score for community was 66.7. That's incredible, as are you. So yay B Corp for recognizing the awesomeness of this community, but yay you more. Now, having taken 2 companies through the BIA, one of the questions that we're often asked is, did I learn perhaps enough from my first experience in collating evidence and making suitable notes and documenting the progress to enable a suitably smooth process for the second? To which the answer is no. No, I did not, which is why, for all the positive guidance and the knowledge in completing the B Impact assessment, you have the wonderful Laura Slack, and for all the rookie learning mistakes that caused my black hair to turn grey, you have me anytime you need me. Now, you don't have to become a B Corp to show that you're doing good in the world, but can it give you a good framework to allow you to do business in a better way? Definitely. And Kim covered that off brilliantly when she was talking through her journey with Ella's. Can it help identify areas perhaps for improvement within your business that maybe you hadn't even considered? Yes, absolutely. And it definitely did that for us at Includability as well. So if you feel that maybe going for B Corp certification is something that could work for your business, or if you are already perhaps B Corp certified and maybe need that support in terms of recertification, then we have both the experience and we have the partnerships within this community for you to tap into whenever you need it. Pay Captain, for example, are a B Corp certified payroll provider, and they're one of our official partners. Engaging with them will give you access to pay gap analysis, but it will also demonstrate your commitment to employee financial well-being through their mobile dashboard app. Planet Mark, another great example, another includability committed employer. They're also a sustainability certification body that will give you the scope data that you need for the environment impact area that Laura talked about on your B Impact assessment. They'll analyze your carbon footprint. They'll enable you to offset it. They'll support you with a carbon reduction plan, and they'll provide you with the verification reports you need to upload as evidence. Matchable, we had the amazing Fung earlier on. She's another brilliant certified B Corp and an includability committed employer. And as a company volunteering platform, they can match your team with their perfect volunteering opportunity. As Fung talked through, by basing this, by calculating corporate volunteering, that can equate to as much as 9 points on your B Impact assessment. That's huge. As an includability committed employer, you receive 2 free volunteering pairings with them. And then finally, you have B1G1. You have this brilliant B Corp certified global giving platform that allows you to create positive impacts against the UN Sustainable Development Goals and support a whole host of amazing charitable projects. Now, B Corp are particularly hot on the evidence you provide to showcase the impact that those charitable donations can make. But B1G1 are a certified B Corp themselves. So as a result of their due diligence, they've actually done all the hard work for you. It's fantastic. Again, another includability partner that would have a positive scoring influence on your B impact assessment. Now, last week we had the wonderful Sarah Matthews from Odyssey Strategies talk about the power of connections, the ability to connect with like-minded organizations to build your knowledge and to empower your team and to better your business. And includability, Paul and I specifically wanted to put ourselves through the toughest verification process out there so that we could definitely continue to learn to be better for the community we serve and for the team that we love. And we excelled because of you, all because of you, because you are our community. You are includability. So thank you so much for creating the best community in the world. And thank you so much for listening. Back to you, Paolo.
Cheers, mate. God, he's so nice, isn't he? It's actually frustrating that he is that nice. And look how smiley he is as well. If anyone's having a really, really bad day, I would definitely encourage you to phone Dave, and he will definitely make your life a little bit better, even if it's just for 5 minutes. It'll probably be 10 minutes because it's Dave. But and look, Dave's absolutely right. All we want to do is Dave and I and our team get together regularly to say, how can we positively impact any business? Where are our gaps? If somebody come to us and said, we would love some support here, we would love an introduction here, we need to make it our mission to make sure that we can make not just one introduction, not just 2 introductions, but as many introductions to incredible people, and then just watch magic happen. So we are the facilitator of incredible things, but it's everyone else that makes that magic happen. So I guess kind of last and by no means least, certainly by no means least, I'm going to hand you over to the incredible Hannah Keartland. I think for once, we're actually going to be finishing bang on time, which is incredible. So Hannah, over to you.
Amazing. Thank you, Paul. Hi, everyone. I will share some slides because I'm talking about impact reporting. So it's quite a visual thing. Right. Let's see how that goes. Can you see that? Super. Okay. So I think we might even finish early, Paul, because Dave said 5 minutes. So I've like shrunk this down. So I'm, hopefully.
You've definitely got like 7 or 8 if you want them. So
don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. I've got 5 top tips for your impact reporting. Before I start that though, I will just introduce me. I know I'm connected to some of you on LinkedIn and I've met a few of you before, but very quick overview in terms of who I am. I'm Hannah. I'm the founder of Keartland & Co, where I work with business leaders who are passionate about having a meaningful impact on the world. And the people I work with have usually started on their journey towards being an impactful business already, and they now want to amplify and scale up that impact. And so that tends to mean quite a lot of B Corps who I'm working with. They've become a B Corp and then they've gone, oh my goodness, what next? And so I'm often working with them at that point. In terms of me, I've had quite a varied background in terms of my career. So initially I trained and worked as an accountant, and so understanding that kind of operational business financy side of a business, what do you need to do to run a successful business? From working in accountancy, I moved into project and program management, and I've led big cross-organizational programs, and that sort of saw me then moving into innovation and leading innovation teams. And my last employed role before I did this was as Director of Innovation at Cancer Research UK, so biggest fundraising charity in the UK. And so that sort of leads me on to the last bit about me, which is that I've spent the vast majority of my career working with charities and with impact-focused businesses and impact investors. So including Cancer Research UK that I mentioned, also Innocent Drinks earlier in my career as well. And then when it comes to impact reporting, I wrote my first impact report back in 2007. So lots of experience of how you talk about impact, how you measure it, and how you know whether you're actually making an impact, making a difference or not. So all B Corps, is B Corp session today, all B Corps have got to publish an impact report each year to talk about the impact that they want to have and the progress they've made. And these are screen grabs from some of my favourite ones here, this mishmash. B Corps, especially those that have recently certified, often find this a bit overwhelming and a bit of a daunting task. Some of the things that I hear is that they don't know what to include in their report. They don't know how to structure it. They don't know what data to include, and do they even have that data? And what if that data, it's not complete, or it's a bit messy, or like, what do they do? Or they're worried that they don't have enough to say because they're really early on in their journey, and they're like, well, we haven't done anything yet. We're still on the journey. Have we got enough to talk about? Especially compared to some of the sort of really big established B Corps who've been doing this for years and have got so many, so much to say. So what I'm going to do today is share 5 top tips for when you're writing your impact report. And these apply to any business, however established you are, however many times you've done this before, but hopefully especially helpful to people who are at the beginning of the journey. And the other thing I'd say actually is anyone can write an impact report. I'm working with a client at the moment who aren't a B Corp, but they want to talk about the difference they're making. So, hopefully this is helpful, even if you are B curious rather than a B Corp. One of the first things you should ask yourself is, why are we even writing this? And this is going to help you understand what approach to take and how much time to put into it. Now, impact reporting can take up a huge amount of time and money. There are some amazing glossy impact reports out there, especially from big consumer brands. Now, rather than following the crowd and assuming that you've got to produce something as amazing and beautiful as Pucker or Cook or Ella's or any of these really well-known B Corps, I'd encourage you to really think about why you're writing your impact report. And if that report is going to be an important way of engaging your stakeholders, if it's going to be a core part of your marketing strategy, then it may well be worth creating something glossy and beautiful. If it's more about you tracking your progress and stating your intentions for the future, then it doesn't need to be an expensive, fully designed, time-consuming thing. What B Lab needs to see is a documentation of the progress you've made against each of the B impact assessment pillars and a commitment of what you're going to do next. And that doesn't have to be fancy. So have a think about, if you're going to invest time and money in creating something beautiful, why are you doing that? Or could that time and money be better spent either running your business or having an impact? So that's the first question to ask yourself. Why are we writing this report? And what does that tell us about the time and money we should be investing in it? Next question, who are we writing this for? Who's our audience? And this influences the story that you tell and how you tell it. And it's going to influence any choices around design. So, for example, I was working with a financial advisor, and he was used to communicating very complex financial information to financial audiences. And when we started discussing this question, he realized that his impact report would probably be read by his clients or by other B Corps. Now, these are not people who are deep financial experts who are going to be reading his impact report. Lots of them are members of the general public who are looking for financial advice. And that helped him to realize that he would need to communicate very differently to the way, a lot of his usual documents that he's pulling together. And that influenced the whole sort of structure and approach to his report. So second question, who are we writing this for? Who's our audience? Next up, and this is one that we've touched on already today, so I smiled when this came up. The number one principle I would encourage you to have in mind as you're writing your report is being open and honest. So this is the transparency piece. Whenever you're wondering what to say or how to communicate something, come back to this principle. So, for example, if you don't know something or you haven't worked something out yet, then say so. If you've been grappling with a big question or a thorny issue, then share that journey that you've been on and talk about why it's been so tough to navigate. If something you did went hideously wrong, then talk about it and explain what you learned. Or if you don't have the data that you want to have, or the data that you've got is a bit messy and incomplete, then talk about that and say what you're doing to gather better data in future. So number one principle, be open and honest. And here's a really lovely example of this. This is Cook's impact report from 2022. And this is right at the beginning of the report. This is an extract from their introduction. And I just want to give you a couple of, or a few seconds just to read that bold paragraph on the left, because I think it's really powerful. So they talked about their crap roller coaster of a year. And this open and honest tone continues throughout the whole report. It just doesn't feel like they're trying to hide behind a glossy, perfect image. And it makes me trust them much more. And the reality is that becoming a responsible business is hard. And the last few years have been really tough for businesses. You know, there's no blueprint in how to do this, how to navigate this path. So being open and honest about the realities of the journey you're on and the lessons you've learned builds trust, and it will help other businesses that are on the journey too. Now, the best impact reports have an overarching narrative that hangs together. And so it's important to think about that storyline up front and decide what framework you're going to use for your report. If you've got an impact strategy or you've got a theory of change, then that can be an absolutely brilliant framework to use to talk about what you've done and the impact you've had. If you haven't got an impact strategy or a theory of change, then that's absolutely fine. I'd recommend you pick an existing framework to shape your story around. So, for example, the pillars of the B impact assessment, so those 5 pillars that Laura shared earlier on. And Pucker are one of my absolute favorite impact reports. It's just beautiful. So, you know, don't be put off by how beautiful it is. But in terms of, you know, top marks, benchmark to aim for, Pucker is amazing. And they do this framework piece really nicely. They've got this really clear strategy, and then the report talks through the pillars of the strategy and everything they've done in each area. And then top tip number 5, we've touched on already, and this is about sharing learnings. So make sure that, you know, yes, you want to shout about all the positive stuff that's happened, all the amazing things you've done, but also share the things that don't do well, because there isn't a blueprint on how to become a more impactful business. We're all learning as we go. And because we all need to make the transition as quickly as possible, we haven't got time for us all to be making the same mistakes over and over. So the sorts of things you could include are the things that have gone brilliantly well and you do again, so people can, you know, learn from what amazing things you've done, things you've tried that didn't work, things you did and you've realized with hindsight you could have done them better, so you could, if you'd done them a bit differently, things you decided not to do and why. It's often easy to forget that one, but what did you decide not to do and why did you not? Or things that you grappled with. So for example, things you had lots of discussions about or did lots of research on. And a lovely example of this is from Innocent. So they've built a sustainable factory over in the Netherlands, and they are sharing their experience and learnings with absolutely anyone who wants to hear them. So, you know, the things that have gone hideously wrong, how they've done it so that other people can copy it. And they also share lots of their sort of standards and certification schemes and labeling schemes as well, so people can use those as well. So 5 top tips. First of all, ask yourself why you're writing the report and what you want to get out of it. Think about your audience. Who are you writing this for? Be open and honest. And if you're struggling with what to write or how to say something, just keep coming back to this principle. Decide on a framework for telling your impact story and share your learnings. And, you know, that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. If you want to know any more about impact reporting, then I've got a template that I can send to you that goes through some different areas of your report and how it helps you think about them in a structured way. So drop your email in the chat or send me a DM on LinkedIn and I will send you a copy of that. Please do connect with me on LinkedIn. There are only 2 Hannah Keartlands in the world. So if you search for me on there, I'm very easy to find, but I'm sure Dave is also sticking my link in the chat. And in particular, you might be interested in a series of posts that I do on impact reports. So I review an impact report, approximately one every couple of weeks. And for each of them, I share 3 things I like and 3 questions it raises. And finally, reach out if you've got any questions or you need any help with your impact report. The things I focus on are that sort of upfront planning of your storyline and what to include, and then helping businesses by reviewing their draft impact report before they take it into design. Thank you for
amazing
joining you, and I will stop there. And it didn't take me 5 minutes, did it?
It did. Well, you did. You had free reign. You had a few more minutes, which you duly took. Hannah, thank you so much. And I think that it just goes to prove that whilst in a very, very complex world with a huge amount of pressure to try and do everything all of the time, even just some really top tips and just starting somewhere is a really, really good thing to do. And if you're not sure, if you're unsure, then just ask a question. It really is quite simple just to kind of reach out and say, actually, I don't know what I'm doing, but always go back to as a person, know your purpose. As a business, know your purpose and bring everything back to that, because actually then things become an awful lot easier. Certainly look at your review. I would wholeheartedly encourage you to review your supply chain. Who are you buying from? Who are you supporting? Who are you partnering with? Is there anything that you can do better? Even if they're not a B Corp, but they're purpose-led business and they express what they do externally and they do it well, you're better off surrounding yourself with incredible people that do incredible things and working together to create that kind of better world that we're all striving for. On kind of the note of us trying to do things differently and includability, we're extremely lucky not only to have the best community, but also as a team and trying to kind of push boundaries on what we can do. We're in the process of developing a rewards app. So that is for any includability committed employer and any disrupt client, kind of almost amalgamating the two. Say, well, anytime somebody attends an event, anytime somebody uses one of our like 60, 70 member benefits, anytime somebody does something great, we will then assign points to them. And those points can then be used against incredible things, incredible projects, incredible B1, G1 projects, or giving back initiatives. So actually, just even by engaging, by attending, by being present within the community, there's really like an amazing amount of good that we can do in the world. So we're just developing that at the moment, and we'll kind of keep you updates on how we're making that progress. But any ideas that people have got, any really good projects that people know about that we should be kind of having as part of this, because we're just trying to build something out that's incredible. We would kind of love to know. The next ESG, just so you know, is going to be on the 31st of May. So please do come along, bring your colleagues, bring your friends, bring your clients. As I said earlier on, we've got Sasha Harvey, who is the HR manager of Lucky Saint, another B Corp. We've got Michael Lloyd from Mental Health Charter, and we've got Gunraj Arora, one of our incredible ambassadors, who I know is on the call as well. So I guess we're done for now. An incredible kind of thank you and heartfelt thanks to everyone that's been on this morning. Hopefully you made some good connections. Take all of those intros that you've made. Please get to know each other. Please have a virtual coffee, or even better, if you can meet up in person and actually have a face-to-face coffee. Share the stuff that you're doing. We're building out includability connections. We want to share the story. So if any of you know each other, if any of you start working with each other, if it's a business you've benefited, if as a consultant or an ambassador you've done incredible things, please tell us, because Chris is on the call. He's our comms manager, and we really want to kind of spread all of the incredible work that everyone's doing. There's enough negativity in the world. There's enough of people saying that we need to do more, but let's celebrate the things that we do really, really well. And lastly, a massive thank you for attending and kind of being here. Dave, put all of the links in. If you need anything from any one of us at all, please just give us a call, and have an amazing rest of the week. And yeah, that's it. Over and out. Thank you, everyone.